Hey everybody, welcome to Wacky Wednesday number 122 on the Leek. I'm John as always, and we're going to go back to something that I love doing that I haven't done for a while. We're going to play some Mo-Mir Basic. If you happen to be new and don't necessarily know what Mo-Mir Basic is, it is a format where you play a 60 card nothing but basic lands deck. But very importantly, both players have Momir Vig, Simic Visionary, in play. Well, not in play, it's technically in the command zone. Basically, you start with 4 extra life, and once a turn you can pay X mana, discard a card, and put a token onto the battlefield. It's a copy of a creature card with converted mana cost X, chosen at random. Activate this ability only anytime you can cast a sorcery, and only once each turn. So you get a random creature each turn from the entire history of Magic. Every creature ever printed at 4 mana is a creature that you could potentially get if you pay 4 mana. So we've won the die roll, so we're going to play first. You always play first in Momir, and you always keep, because you'll never get a better hand, because they're all going to be basically the same. The general strategy that I follow is if you're on the play, you don't play a 1-drop, and you don't play a 2-drop. The first drop that you play is a 3-drop. The reason for that is 1-drops, they're pretty mediocre. 2-drops, also generally pretty mediocre. 3-drops and higher, they start to get a little bit better, and you're very much trying to get to 8 mana, because 8 mana is where the vast majority of massively impactful cards come down. On the draw, I generally do play a 2-drop, so I'm not sure why our opponent didn't play a 2-drop there, but let's see what we can get for 3. We get ourselves a Foul Spirit, a 3/2 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, sack a land. Flyers are very powerful, so it's a good creature for us to get. Losing lands is a huge downside. Huge downside. But if our opponent whiffs on creatures here, they get little ground guys, we might be able to get away with this. A 1/2, sack an enchantment, so that's not really going to be anything. Discard a card, they're probably not going to do that either, so it's basically just a 1/2. So we're running away a little bit here. Now by playing a 3-drop again, we are going to have to skip something at some point in order to get to 8. But I'd like to have this advantage go while I can. Well, we get to get in for 6. That was definitely a good play there. It was my strategy all along to get an on-crop crasher. We won't bother exerting with it, because I'll take 1 on the crackback, or they can just jump block if need be. But either way, we're getting in for 3, potentially 6. They could discard a couple of cards, or 1 card. It's going to really put them behind the 8 ball if they do discard cards like that. Alright, they do just go for the chump. Sounds good, sounds good. So due to the sacked land, our opponent is now virtually on the play. And for 4, they get themselves a 2/3 that does nothing, because Morph does not come into play in this format. So I will drop a 4-drop here. They changed Momir since I last played. The button is now a done button, not an OK button. Sower of Temptation, I get to steal something. I'm going to steal that. And bash in for 6. This is the luckiest I've been in Momir in a long time. So we've got 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've got 10 coming at them next turn. Virtually unblockable if we exert the on-crop crasher. They get a 3/3. If a sorcerer deal damage to a cleric you control, it's a cleric. Prevent 1 of that damage. Okie dokes. Well, I will exert, and then we're going to represent 5 in the air. Let's drop a 5-drop. A 2/2. That's just going to get smaller. Just going to get smaller. Alright, so in with team, exert the on-crop, you cannot block. Take him to 5, and we got lethal in the air. We're not even going to get to 8-drops this game. Opponent 6-drop. Can they stop me? It's a 4/4 flyer, so they block there. They still take 2. They go to 3. They block there. Oh, we take them to 1. We take them to 1. Well, that's pretty good. See what we can get for 6. For 6, we get a 4/4 flyer. When it attacks attacking creatures, you gain... yeah, that'll do it. That'll do. We'll just not attack. And then all of my attackers will be flying lifelinkers until end of turn. So they're going to have 2 blockers. On Crop Crasher will turn 1 off. What do they get for 7? A 4/4. So we win this game, if I'm not mistaken. Can't block. Yeah, we've got them dead in the air. I mean literally in the air, because everything is going to fly. Yeah, there we go. Well, sometimes you don't need to get to 8. There's, of course, no sideboarding in Momir, just like there's no crying in baseball. So we're on the draw, which means we're going to start playing 2 drops. And to head off any questions, yes, I play my mountains first, and I try not to play islands. The reason is because island walk is extremely common in Magic's history, and if you play an island and your opponent gets one of the bajillion island walkers out there, your opponent basically has an unblockable creature. Forest walk is similarly very, 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 very common. The other reason is the most common color for activated abilities is red, and so having extra mountains is pretty handy. Goblin Piledriver, 1/2 pro blue. When it attacks, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn for each other attacking goblin. So unless we get lucky and get goblins, Goblin Piledriver is just a 1/2 pro blue. Opponent's 3-drop is a 2/1. Choose not to untap it. Target elf gets +2/+2 and has trample as long as it's tapped. Meh. No biggie. What do we get for 3? Beetleform Mage. I remember Beetleform Mage. Unfortunately, I have to play a forest and an island for it to do anything. 2/2, you can pay green blue to make it a 4/4 flyer till end of turn. Real good. Real good. I'm not going to throw that Goblin Piledriver into the courier. So it's like an elf that just carries a glove and then is like, hey, put on this glove. I guess. Opponent is playing the Wastes strategy. I don't believe you should actually hurt your mana base with the Wastes because there's so few things that use colorless mana to activate. 4/4 flyer. Thankfully, they can't pay the Echo next turn. And again, very good reason to play your mountains out first. So that's just going to be a 4/4 blocker one time. I'll trade here. We're never really going to be activating Beetle Form and not before a point where it's going to matter. So let's drop a 4-drop. See what we get. Opponent's going to have an empty board momentarily there. 2/4. Pay 6, tap, search your library for a rebel permanent. Of course, my library is nothing but land, so that's just a 2/4 for 4. Not the best. But hey, this game we're probably going to get to 8 drops. Opponent's 5-drop. What do they got? A 3/3. Pay 2 and a green. Gets +3/+3 until end of turn. Pretty good. Pretty good. But of course, spending turn times activating and not making bigger things is generally not the best plan. It's better when you've hit 8 and you're kind of established. 3/4. Ninjutsu doesn't matter. When it deals combat damage to a player, you may search the library for a ninja card. Not going to happen. Pay 2. Target ninja creature can't be blocked this turn. Okay. So for 2 generic mana, I can make a 3/4 unblockable. Seems fine. Could also time walk them if they do attack with that Root Walla. I can just throw stuff in front. They do not. They make a 6-drop, and it is Flowstone Sculpture, a 4/4. Pay 2, discard a card, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Put a +1/+1 counter on it, or it gains flying, or first strike, or trample. Well, that's pretty good. I'm not... Once we're stabilized at 8, maybe that's good. I still don't think it's great. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens in this game. 6-drop. What do we got? We got a 4/5. Yeah, a 4/5 that does nothing because we're never casting spells. What is it? It's like a giant slug thing. Slug ghost. Weird. Seven drops. Some people are afraid of 7-drops because Phage the Untouchable is a 7-drop, and you don't cast her, which means, of course, you lose if you hit Phage. It is a very low chance. I think it's less than 1%. I think it's less than a 1% chance to hit Phage, so you shouldn't really fear the 7-drops. If it happens, laugh, go to the next game. Maybe our opponent's just going to get aggro here. Maybe throw a counter on that and pump that up. My creatures are all disappointingly vanilla. What you gonna do, opponent? They are gonna get aggro. In and in. So the biggest this can be is a 6/6. And they really screw themselves over by doing that, frankly. This can also be a 6/6. So I will force that to become a 6/6. Wait, it gets first strike, doesn't it? It can get first strike. Alright, let's double block there instead. Because they could have made it a 5/5, given it first strike, it would have killed the Sage, and then just bounced off the commander. Alright, they're going to pump that up. And they're going to put, I assume, a counter. But by doing this, I get to play the first 8-drop. And that's a pretty big game. Alright, they made a 5/5 flyer. And they spend all their cards, which means they can't make any more creatures. Wait. Oh god. It just keeps flying. Oh. Well then. Didn't think about that. I just assumed it was till end of turn. Well, you hit me for 5, I'll hit you for 6. How's that feel? I can search my library for a ninja card. No thanks. And let's make a 7-drop. Well, maybe I can race here. 5/5. If it would be destroyed, regenerate it. Gross. Tap any number of untapped creatures you control other than Moss Bridge Troll with total power 10 or greater. Gets +20/+20 till end of turn. Okay. It's kind of dumb. So now my opponent is stuck in 7-drop purgatory. They're stuck playing the flottery. They got a 7/7. And they can attack in for 5. That is fine. Fine-ish. We can only take a couple more hits from that. But now we get 8 drops. So let's get a good one. Let's get a good one. Are you a good one? 6/6 flyer. Well, it stops Flowstone Sculpture. Delirium will never be turned on. So let's get in for 5. And they have to block it. Otherwise, we just make it into a 20 or 25/25. So we'll make it into a 25/25 here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. So we'll do that. Enormous Baloth dies. I don't get to block this, but I'm fine with that. Getting another 8-drop while my opponent's just on 7 should be good. Woolly Loxodon. Sure. Hit me for 5. Be my guest. Eight drop. Number 2. What do we get? Don't be poo. Why? Why do I always get that card? I always hit Denizen of the Deep. Bounces all my own creatures. Well, we get one more shot at an 8-drop. I hate this card so much. Alright, so they're going to bash in the air for 5. And then probably just make a 7-drop, I guess. What we need is a big old lifelinker. They don't make a 7-drop, nor do they play a land. Intriguing. For 8, we get nothing. We hit Naya's Soul Beast. So we lose, is what we do there. That's unfortunate, but that's how Momir goes. So let's go to game 3. Let's try and get that luck from round 1 back. Or game 1, rather. I will play first. I will keep. Let's drop a mountain. Pass the turn. So, Flowstone Sculpture was indeed great. Absolutely great. What was that? A 5-drop? 4-drop? 6-drop? I don't remember. Opponent doesn't play on 2 on the draw. Very interesting. Let's drop a 3-drop. What do we get? We get ourselves a Sidewinder Naga. It's a 3/2, and that's all it's ever going to be, because there are no deserts in my deck. Their 3-drop is a Scroll Thief, a 1/3. Deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. We don't want that to happen. Drawing cards is good because then they can discard cards to things and they can get extra mana and such. Discard is super powerful. Draw a card, also super powerful. 2/3 Flash Flyer, right. Just a 2/3 flyer. But that means we can get in for 3 because our 2/3 can block their 1/3, so it's all good. All good. For drop, what you got? It's a Ivy Lane Denizen, 2/3. Whenever another green creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. It's pretty good. If they get lucky on their colors and drop a bunch of green creatures, they can make some beef. do we get for 5? What do we want for 5? Do we want a 3/2 with fear? That's decent. Let's get in for 3. Fear is black and artifact? Fear is black and artifact. Intimidate is color of creature and artifact. 5-drop, what you got? Kozilek's Channeler. Good God. Oh no. That means that they're going to be on 8 drops on turn 6. So we are, what's the word? Boned? We're boned. We're very boned. Trey boned. Harvester of Souls, 5/5 Death Toucher. Not bad. Not bad at all. We are going to bash in for 5. Because we got a race. We really got a race here. Hopefully the fear guy can just get there. I say as they play an 8-drop black creature. Oh dear. This is how we die. This is how we die. 8-drop, turn 6. Seems fair. It's not important. It's a 4/6. Doesn't do anything else. Bullet number 1 dodged. Oh, unfortunately this doesn't draw cards because everything's a token. Alright, let's see what we can get for 7. We get an Angel of Despair. Destroy target permanent. Goodbye. And then we get to fly in for 5. And then we've got 10 on the crackback. We might actually have this depending on what their natural 8-drop is. They didn't play a land. They're only it's turn 7. Right, I played first. Never mind. Ooh, Vengeful Archon. 7/7 flyer. Prevent the next X damage to be dealt. 7/7 flyer. Okay, dokes. That keeps them alive for a turn. We still get in for 5 and take them to 3. And then they've got to hit a black or artifact creature. And we get an 8-drop here, which I'm not going to play. Because it's going to be Denizen of the Deep. But what if it's a haster? Alright, maybe it won't be Denizen of the Deeps for once. It's... Flash Flyer deals 5 to players. Perfect. 5 straight to the face. And then 3. For the exacties. For the exacties. Alright. That's Momir. We're going to play 3 matches of that, so we've got 2 more matches up. I will see you for match 2, and hopefully we can win another one.